So Rob, you had some follow-on comments to the eat fat to burn fat 10 and 2 question that we had.
Yeah, it was a super popular question. Appreciate all the comments. This is how I learn and continue to figure out what people need. So I super appreciate that stuff. It's interesting. In the beginning of a low carb or ketogenic diet, it does almost feel like magic because you kind of feel like you can eat more than what you've ever eaten in the past and you still lose weight. You feel better. Your energy levels are kind of regulated. I've talked to Luis Villasenor, Tyler Cartwright of Keto Gains, and there's a lot going on there. In the beginning of this process, I think people are pretty inefficient at using fat, and so they're not really utilizing the full caloric load that they're taking in, particularly if we eat things like nuts, which are honestly pretty hard to digest. So even though like the package may say, a quarter cup of almonds is 25 grams of fat, for example, it may be kind of difficult to extract that full 25 grams of fat out of that versus say like doing butter straight up or some sort of a processed fat. But honestly, over the course of time, what we find is that as people legitimately become fat adapted, they probably need fewer calories, not more. And this is one of the big problems that's persisted in the low carb and ketogenic space, is that there's this narrative that you can just eat unlimited amounts of fat. And again, in the beginning, that may be kind of true. That was an experience that I had. I was eating probably 5,000 calories a day. I felt good. I got leaner. I got lean right in the love handle region, which is kind of that insulin resistant fat. So those things improved, but then it kind of stalled out. And I did need to start limiting my caloric intake. And it's interesting. Years ago, I was talking to Greg Glassman, the founder of CrossFit. He was and is a big fan of the zone diet, which most people aren't aware. The zone diet, when you get to a level of leanness that supports your activity level and the body composition you want, you actually add a significant amount of fat. It may be a 65, 70% fat diet when everything is all said and done. And what he observed is that people run maybe as much as 20 to 25% lower in caloric need than what we would generally expect. And this is really consistent with, again, with what Tyler and Luis have seen within their practice within Keto Gains, is that people may actually need fewer calories on low carb, particularly keto or a peri-ketogenic diet. I think if you're getting lots of nutrient density, whole unprocessed foods, that generally you need fewer calories when it's all said and done. There's some natural downregulation in thyroid production, which we've talked about that, and we can dig into that again, but I think that that's actually normal and natural. And when we look at calorie restriction and longevity research, this is actually very consistent with that. So again, the reason why I think that there is some confusion on this fat intake topic is in the beginning, your body may actually respond differently than what it does after you're fat adapted.